together, Quentin. How are you doing?
Yeah, Riech. No, last time I saw you, we put a couple of hours behind us to get to Taiwan. So, I mean, that's quite a different spot we're chatting now.
Different way to get to know each other, right?
Yeah, yeah, just about.
Welcome everybody who's watching and tuning in. Please do drop in with some questions and comments if you have while we're doing this chat. And it's quite an interesting one. But we won't dive deep into it because it's going to, or we won't dive into it just yet because it's going to be a big topic, but we're going to slowly progress into it. Are you ready for Computex this year? Are you planning on going?
Yeah, we'll be there every year. I mean, it's almost a given at this point. You know, I mean, we're looking at what, close to 7 years we've been going. So I don't see us stopping now. Certainly the tech isn't slowing down.
You are the regular. Yeah, oh, definitely not. Question is, can you handle any more AI in your life?
I think the real question is, can anyone? I think we've all hit our limit on that one. Yeah, it's everywhere.
But it's become such it's like the internet, right?
Everyone's trying to find the use for it, right?
Yeah, but I mean, the internet was the same thing, right? If life was slow and easy and gentle, we had libraries and phone calls, and we wrote letters and postcards. Now it's just a chaotic cacophony of sounds and information hitting in your face. I, for one, I think I see a lot of positivity with and a lot of good to come out of AI, but it's still a work in progress. But the thing that I found very interesting when you and I spoke a while back, and the first time I really thought about it like this, is to run your own, potentially, AI services. And I have done some reading up on it, and it seems to be a thing that people are doing. Obviously, there's caveats, because you're not going to get the same experience. But the question is, should you? Would you want to do your own AI-hosted service at home?
Yeah, I think those are all great questions. I mean, I always bring it back to it's the same argument for me, you know, Samsung or Apple. And the real answer is just whichever works best for what you're trying to do. Or Oppo, exactly. I mean, like, you know, there's all these arguments that come from different angles, and I'm a guy who likes to use the right tool for the right job. So if local AI is going to give me better results or protect my privacy in a situation where I need protection, fantastic. Then it's obviously the right call, you know. But if you're looking for speed and affordability, then yeah, probably online is going to be the way to go.
Sorry, Quentin. Just give me one. I can't hear anything. I've got a lot of other audio happening here. It's one of not the perks of going live. I found it. Thank you. That was very odd.
I think
it was AI talking to me. Yeah, now I can hear you. Sorry about that. I just lost the last 30 seconds. Yeah, it was working against us.
Positive.
Yes. AI overlords. We're here for it.
Soon. Yeah, 100%.
Sorry, I do apologize about that, but yes. Sorry, just rewind like 30 seconds and I'll pick it up from there.
Yeah, I think, look, again, it just comes back to using the right tool to solve the problem you have at hand, right? And that should be brand agnostic. It should be, you know, opinion agnostic. It's what works. I mean, I certainly don't want to be here forcing something. And I think that's where the frustration at the moment is with consumers, is more often than not, we're not being given a proper tool that's been refined for said solution, you know. So we're finding out slowly, but actually, hold up, they say this thing works, but it doesn't work the way we thought it would. And that's where consumer frustration is coming from. But we're also seeing a lot of consumers who are, again, taking things into their own hands, building the tool out properly and having great success with a very small little setup. And I think that's what's really cool is I see a lot of positivity from AI. But I certainly understand and experience the frustration that consumers are complaining about. Like, that's very real. I don't know anyone who isn't.
I think the frustration also comes with places where it's not needed, or not needed yet, or it's forced on you. And I see it a lot in the cell phone industry, and we kind of have a laugh about it because every phone that comes out now has AI capabilities. And you go, okay, why do I need it? And I think this kind of leads into a question that I always ask people is, where do we distinguish between AI and just good old algorithms on an app that actually just does something based on a data set? Or are we going to call everything AI now because it's intelligent? And is it for that
Yeah,
reason?
certainly. I mean, all of it's code, but I have to agree with you there. I certainly like the ones that are based on solid functions that return the same result every time more often. And then there's certainly again a place for the probabilistic models that we're experiencing now, but surely not everything has to go that route. And I think that's again we're figuring it out en masse apparently.
Yeah, we're all part of the collective data machine.
Yeah.
I was playing and looking into AI portraits because, I mean, to your point, what we're seeing now is a lot of focused. The ChatGPTs and the Groks of the world and the Copilots are very broad spectrum AI. You can do a lot with them once you dig into them. But I find a lot of these dedicated tools popping up quite fun. Those tools that extract stems from music, so you can get individual parts if you want to play with making music, for example.
Yeah.
The portrait one, where you upload a photograph and you can get all these amazing self-portraits. And every time I play with these, I mean, the music less so, but anything where you give your own data, I can't get help but shake that feeling like my photo is going to be used in this big machine now. The question is it there already? It's probably there already because my face is on the internet, right? We've got social media profiles.
It's a great question. I mean, yeah, is it too late to protect your privacy? Should it probably be something that should be explored, right? Yeah, I think we don't quite have
I think
the
it is
answer
too
to
late.
that one yet.
I mean, when last,
quite possibly,
case in point, the other day I was just looking at something on my banking app. There's like various things, new features. I was just looking at what is this, and it put up a application form for something, and I immediately backed out. And since then, I've received different spam calls that I don't normally get, and I was like,
oh boy, yeah.
Privacy is.
Wonder where those came from. Yeah,
exactly. So, I mean, you sent me a very interesting spreadsheet. Can I share this? Can I show this on screen? The first slide, or is this confidential stuff?
Yeah. No, not at all. No, I mean, funny enough.
I mean, do you want to? Can you? Was it made by AI?
Yeah, this is it, right? I mean, literally, I took the concepts and threw it in. So, I mean, this is a great example, right? I mean, it's like a part of the conversation pieces that I was putting together was my own thoughts and some of the things that we've been grappling with as tech traders, as Vanguard, PC, like those are the conversations we're having with clients. And then you said, well, could you send me something that's a bit more coherent? And I mean, I just literally didn't have the time to share that with you, right? And that's where a useful tool comes in to say, build me a little summary sheet to share.
No, I thought it was amazing and nice graphics too. And I thought it was quite ironic that I could actually ask PDF, Adobe Acrobat to summarize this for me.
Perfect.
I can just say that summarize this document.
Has completed itself. There we go.
So let's see what it says. But I think that this thing that fascinates me a lot and is, I mean, NVIDIA has made it perfectly clear, right? We are moving to a world of our graphics, our chips are going to have the processing power to do AI calculations. That's kind of done now. That's why our memory is getting more expensive and our SSD storage devices are going to get more expensive because AI applications are sucking up all the hardware.
Yeah.
I mean, firstly, is it feasible for anybody to run anything realistically relevant at home? Or are we going to be enslaved to these subscription services forever? I think we can, because if my NVIDIA graphics card is going to allow me to do some, I can at least offload my home automation, for example, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is a twofold discussion, right? I think on the one hand, we've got to look at the model side of things, and then on the other hand, it's going to be the hardware. Now, certainly the hardware is there. It's possible. It's fairly affordable if you consider that most of us already own something that can run one of these models fairly well. And the reverse conversation is then, okay, but what kind of model can I run? How good is the model that I can run? Which open source models do I have access to? And that's the real question that comes down to use case again. Different models definitely have strengths and weaknesses. And unfortunately, that those strengths and weaknesses aren't necessarily as well documented as I expected, at least from my own experience. And so it's going to come down to doing a bit of research, doing a bit of trial and error, running some local models, and actually testing your use case. Like, hey, what are the results between these 3 different models that can run on my hardware? And which do I prefer?
I mean, which have you been playing with?
Yeah, so I mean, I think the biggest one for me has been the Facebook models. But Mistral seems to be pulling ahead for the specific use case that I used it for. And again, if you just look at the volume of models you have access to, and then obviously the derivatives, like, do you go with a model that's more quantized than another model? You know, like, how many parameters do you need? It's a rabbit hole. I mean, you'll be here forever to discuss it, but I think these terms are at least broken down fairly well on the internet, that it's quite easy to do the research, you know. And my ideology on it is, generally speaking, we're not very patient people. So start with a smaller model, test if it works for your use case, do some research. Is there a bigger model? Great. Pick the bigger one and see if it still runs in your hardware. You know, I mean, that's the real beauty of it, is like, you can literally just brute force it. Try and see if it works.
Now, apart from doing what we all do generally with AI these days, is just using it as a Google alternative. What other examples, I mean, have you played with? I mean, can we bring it home to what people can, like, how can I actually use this for something in my life that's actually relevant? Because gaming is one thing, and we're not quite there yet. Sorry, just, I mean, yeah, please go for it. I'll get back to my point.
No, I mean, that's a really cool, we've had some really cool discussions with clients, and obviously we use it inside our own businesses here. I think the biggest thing, the way, let's start with how we use it. We use it to build, more on the coding side, to build a robust automation system that handles specific tedious tasks for employees. So much less of like, we like chatting to clients. So we so far have found that to be something we want to spend more time with, not less, right? So we certainly don't see the value of making a client talk to AI right now. But again, just boring tasks that don't necessarily need a human hand on. That's been valuable to us. When we look at clients, we've heard really interesting stuff. You know, people have used from their own medical data. We chatted to a guy who, about 9 years worth of medical information that he's processed and gone through, and trying to find different ways to alleviate symptoms, you know, because doctors are stumped. And I mean, that's really cool for him, you know. I think that's really interesting. And again, he's running it locally, so he doesn't have to worry about his information going anywhere. And if that brings relief for him, geez, what a breakthrough that would be, you know. But I don't know. I guess that's quite a wild one. Medical advice from AI. I mean, I guess if you're desperate, that's the route you'll end up with. Shame.
Look, it's no better than Googling it, which we all do. I think that the trust factor is probably the thing now, right? Do we trust the answers that it gives us? No. You should still know. If you don't know the topic and you just ask questions, don't trust it blindly, because something, your mileage is going to vary, right? If it's medical, definitely it's going to vary. If it's Google, if it's searching, you know, what's the restaurant closest to my house to go eat, it's probably going to be less of a disaster. It might be closed or not, depending on the updated information.
I think that's such a healthy angle to take on that. Is like, it's your planning assistant. It's certainly going to give you more information to discern and distill and use to then go forth and seek the right information. That's a good way of looking at it.
And also to understand, I know a lot of people that use it to, I mean, I've certainly used it to put in a contract or an NDA, right? What is, if it's too long, tell me what I need to know about this. And especially in terms of rental agreement. Yeah, exactly. In terms of rental agreements, it's given me solid information, and, you know, it actually helped me. Nothing serious. It was just, you know, a 10% yearly increase versus what it should actually be, a 5% or 6%. In terms of your rent, you know, those kind of things could be big in the end of the day. It just allows you to kind of, what did you not spot? Now the question at home, you know, again, what are you running? What do you want to run? I think home assistance would always be good. Something to coordinate all your vacuum cleaners, Len, you know, to make sure that they can all use the charging ports.
Yes, massive.
Yeah, I mean, and in terms of your customers, have you heard of it? I mean, can you tell us a little bit more about those use case scenarios or those comments that
I
really
think one of the
stood
coolest
out for you?
ones, yeah, I mean, one of the coolest ones I've heard as well is someone who actually started off with just Home Assistant and automating his own power systems at home with we were still having power challenges and all that. Slowly teaching himself more and more and more, and to the point where he's actually now made it a business, actually offering that automation service and integrations to real businesses, and driving value back into the market from the knowledge now that he's gained. And I think that's super valuable, right? I mean, like if you think that's someone who wasn't necessarily technical to the degree that he needed to be, and was able to upskill himself with assistance to the point where he could implement real solutions that work. I mean, not just an AI chatbot going back and forth in circles. I mean, this is something that truly now is functional and manages systems.
Yeah, I think that's where the power, again, he's an early adopter. He's somebody that took the initiative and said, listen, we're going to use this for this purpose. And again, with the internet and email, when that launched, if you didn't get on board with Office and know how Excel worked, you couldn't get a job. I mean, there was actual businesses that launched just to teach people how to use Microsoft Word and Microsoft Office. I taught some of those classes. It was a different world back then. Now, and the irony is there's never been software ever or any product or any platform that's allowed that would allow you to teach yourself off the back of what it can give you, right? So you can just ask it, teach me how to use you, and it'll give you the information you need. Start with this. If you're not learning, if you're not using it, you are going to fall behind. It's
it's a tool. I mean, that's
it, what I'm saying. Play with it.
It's definitely a tool that's here to stay. It's certainly evolving very quickly. I think the connection to the internet is a very good example. I just remember the first time like Googling things. I mean, it was very limited in what it was actually providing back. I mean, revolutionary but limited, right, compared to today's search functionality. And yet revolutionary. I mean, it changed the way everything worked. And so I certainly see this being another tool. I still believe it's going to come down to the skill level of the user that will determine the output to a large degree. In other words, not all users will be equal. There is value in certainly learning how to use it properly, learning how to prompt properly, and using it to learn more new things. I mean, it's like if you expand your horizons by using this tool, which in many cases, for now at least, is free from some of the big players, that's quite a powerful thing to use.
Oh, very much so. Very much so. I think especially, something as rudimentary as meal planning for the week. I've also used it for that because I'm honestly trying to explore this technology. So I would talk into my little phone, chat GPT, and say, listen, I've got these things. What can I make? What do I need to make this an epic meal, right? And it gives you all these cool options. Yeah. And it's really been a help in that sense, especially talking to it. If you have like a long... I've been playing Red Dead. This is actually a good example. I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm still trying to finish it. I'm like 51%. But when I started playing in December after years of not touching the game, I was a bit lost in terms of some of the things, and I didn't want to necessarily go through wikis and trying to understand certain things. I would literally just ask and now it's actually started recording. It's listening to my phone. I actually just asked it to give me some information. So exactly. Stop it. So I would come across certain NPCs and I would forget, what are the implications of this? Something as silly as, what's the implications of this character interaction? Or how do I do this? Or how do I actually enable Deadeye and those kind of things? Up to help with finding, certain things on the map. It's been a nice gaming companion to have. Been very useful in that sense, because I could keep playing while it's doing its thing, right? I didn't have to take my eyes off the screen. Where with anything else, you'd have to pause, go do some research, find what you needed, come back to the game. The question is, can you run that at home?
That's fairly interesting. I mean, it's very similar to what NVIDIA has been pushing gamers to try and do, right? So, I mean, I certainly could see the value in it, and I think that's the real thing for me would be is like what do we add? Like, where does AI plug in? So, if we just do AI back and forth, because it is so incredibly general, I tend to find that the value of the interaction runs limited very quickly. So the initial response is very valuable because it broadens my horizons or whatever. But the moment you start delving deeper and deeper and deeper, things start getting a bit murky. And certainly that's where, when, if I look at other tools that you can attach to it, like a RAG system where you're using retrieval augmented generation, or if you have it come up with an idea, but then reach out to a human to read through it and adjust it. Those kind of implementations, I think, is going to be really, really valuable. And I certainly see how that could definitely implement this directly into games as well. I mean, imagine if that was a native feature where you could do it in game. Interesting. I don't know if gamers would enjoy it, but certainly I could see. I mean, I just this past holiday I picked up zombies and Black Ops 3 zombies, and exactly, I was like, geez, I couldn't actually remember where, what's the correct order to do this in. And I mean, I played this game 100 times, right? And you just can't remember it. And that's the exact same thing where you just don't really want to be alt-tabbing to quickly do that. Get me up to speed and then let me take the wheel from here.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of where you can differentiate, and I'm talking about consumer level differentiation between what AI is and just a static algorithm. Because I can argue with it in a way, right? So it would give me some information and say, but are you sure? I don't believe that is true. And it has come back to me and said, no, that you're correct. What obviously brushes it off like it wasn't wrong in that scenario.
Yeah.
But it's the way that you talk to it, interact with it, and key. And I want to get back to this in terms of the home use, remembering. Because my ideal scenario of an AI tool in my life is something that will remember from the moment I activate it, whatever I needed to remember, whether it's all my emails, my calendar, to the amount of petrol in my car, to my schedule for whatever sport I want to play, to something I liked on a mountain bike route I wanted to go onto, all of those little things, so that it comes up at the right time, like an extended memory in a sense, which I believe it's what it can be. And a lot of people have tried building that, the buttons and the pins. All of those will fail because they need cloud, right? With your phone, a lot more computing power, it's a different story. And I think that's where the phone manufacturers aren't quite there yet, because we can't run that scale of AI. It can do photo manipulation, it can bring up things, it can research things for you. Big Mac Daddy says, ChatGPT is the champion of gaslighting. Very true. Very true.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Have you used any?
Don't ever make. Sorry, Rick. No, don't make the mistake of asking it to critique your work. You'll be very humbled very quickly. Yeah, no, for sure.
Oh, very much so. So for you guys watching, what AI services are you guys using? Please do drop a comment. I'd love to hear kind of your implementation in daily life. I mean, I've heard from random people that I would never have thought to play with AI coming to me and saying they found a lot of use with it, right? Again, whether it's just analyzing work. I know of somebody that has it deployed in a company. They use Copilot, but with a proper implementation like they're doing, and this is quite a big corporate, they've implemented with the company documentation, ethics, terms, contracts, all of these things. And it's allowed them to get information faster, to analyze certain things, find flaws, find gaps, especially in contracts and these things. It's happening. So whether you want it or not.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting one to hear what some of the gamers are doing with their gaming machines at home, and certainly the business use cases as well. I think in terms of stick, if you look at your stack, your tech stack that you use, that's also an interesting one. Again, do you go API and integrate with large providers? Do you go, via a general router? so that you can go and choose a fallback API. You know, I mean, there's just so many different ways to set this up. Llama file for local, Ollama, like all very good options. And so I think it comes back to finding the right tool. And so, like you were saying, if their experience has been generally positive, I think you probably find they've got a really good balance of really good controls in place, forcing real information to get to humans with additional context that they might have missed. And I think that's the key. There's if you use the tool properly, it adds that little bit of value that can be distilled by a human still.
Definitely. Before I get to my other point, Lord Razor says, personally, ChatGPT, Grok, Cursor, and a few others is what he uses. They've been immensely useful to understand large log files and search for patterns without needing to write regex for queries. I've used it a lot within WordPress development to try and understand error logs, or I don't know what I'm looking for, and just tell me what I need to find. Massive. And even when we moved over to AWS, I used it a lot to try and find out, problems, because we had some issues, and it really helped to try and pinpoint, at least help me know what I'm talking about much more efficiently than a million Reddit posts or forums, Microsoft forums ever would. I think another thing that's
invaluable. I mean, again, sorry, Rick. There must be a bit of a delay.
There's a delay. No, it's fine. Go for it. Exactly, you get the preference here.
That's exactly where it is. It's that boring part where just reading through 10,000 log files or lines of code in a log file just isn't something useful, right? And then the alternative of writing a very complicated search is also just, really, is this necessary? And no, it's not. And I think that's exactly the balance for me, the handoff, where it's like, it works really well. Now it becomes a valuable, reliant tool that I can use there. But certainly, let's not just plug it in everywhere. I think that's the key there.
Yeah, and I think I've got a very good analogy to this. Although I do think the AI era is catapulting this quite a lot. I think a lot more people will become a lot more tech savvy because of AI. If you think from now back 15 years, there was a big play in the 2000s about your own home media server, Microsoft Windows media server. I thought it was the best thing ever. Never really took off, never really used it properly. Your own music servers, Dropbox at home. I mean, I've actually just canceled all my online cloud services, apart from the ones I get with Office, to host it offline. I mean, also my data requirements have changed, so I don't need to host as much online. So I'm trying to bring everything back so that I can access what I need to in the right ways. But for most people over the last decade or so, nobody's really set up their own home servers anymore. The technology is there. Some people do. Plex, you can set it up. Jellyfin, I think, is another one that's quite good. But most people don't. It's easier just to pay for Netflix. I mean, arguably, they get a lot more benefit, right? But again, with AI, I think we're going to see a lot of that, although I do still think we're going to get more tech-savvy people off the back of it. The question, tying back to what you were saying just now about, do we plug it in? I think the ideal scenario would be, and I'm using your phone as an example because everybody's got a smartphone, and this is kind of their digital assistant, right? Their digital twin. For that to have a limited AI that knows everything about you, that needs to know security in terms of it's just connected to you and your biometrics or whatever that may be, so that you can remember birthdays, for argument's sake. Okay. But then if I needed to plug into my bank, if I want to do something, we have apps for that now, but I think our AI will tap into, your personal AI will chat to all of these random other AI bots to do various things. So if I need to edit a photograph, I don't need the native power there necessarily, although I could use it, but it'll just go out into a service and do it. It's kind of doing that already, but it's a very basic way of explaining definitely how much more it'll become part of our life without us even knowing it. So you won't ask it to do something. Yeah. It'll just be doing it. Running out of milk, it'll just know because it's spoken to the fridge. Again, how much is that is algorithm versus actual, it's a clever AI.
Yeah.
Big Mac Daddy says he's been averse to AI, not saying it doesn't have its place, but so far he's generally not needed it in his work. He says he likes to rely on his own skills. Yes, our work is implementing Copilot soon. Yeah, Copilot's probably going to be the first touch point for a lot of people to use AI.
100%. I think the really interesting one would be to hear what industry he's in, right? That would be a good follow-up.
I know it's part of his industry, but Big Mac, tell us what's your daytime industry, so we can critique it in terms of.
But certainly,
AI.
it's a very good point. I mean, if it's not needed and it doesn't add value, it shouldn't be there. Like that's my opinion on it for sure. But I do recognize there's areas where it works.
Oh yeah, definitely. Again, like with anything, we get the best computer in the world. What do? We play games on it, right?
Yeah.
So what do we do?
And also
we
the
do
least
selfies
demanding
with famous people, and the least demanding. Yeah. I'm really having fun with AI in the sense that it's allowing me to. It's almost like my brain's like this, and now it feels like I've got this amount of capacity because I can. And a big thing for me at the moment is music production. I've always wanted to make music, and I've been playing with it for a while now. And over December, in my downtime, I've really put some effort into this. And let me tell you, awesome. I feel, and a lot of artists would go, oh, whatever, not real. But it's allowed me to, by miming my tunes that I've got over the years, into music. It's allowed me to put my lyrics that I've had for years into music.
Yeah.
And I got goosebumps the first time I got an output that I wanted, that I liked. And I went, how does it know me so well? Because it had what I had in mind for that kind of thing, it put it to the music, to the lyrics perfectly. It's not 100% every time. And if you iterate these, it changes. So you can see it's like every AI revision of something gets weaker, or sometimes it gets better, but it's different. So it's a tool. And it's a very good tool at that. Very good tool at that. Big Mac Daddy says he's in software development. So software development is also one of the places where AI has seen a massive uptake. Although you still get vibe coders that get fired.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that's such an interesting space you're in. I mean, in that sense, software development right now is because you're seeing. I think the way I look at it right now is on AI on its own, coding something seems to work with the right prompting and context and all of that, seems to work fairly well at this point. Okay. And in his defense though, the moment you're in a team environment, I can imagine it's all chaos, because how do you get it to conform and use the same function structure? How do you review, your normal, it breaks your whole review chain in terms of how quickly you can review something, because now all of a sudden code can be written faster than it can be reviewed. Like I'm sure it breaks all sorts of processes. In that case, if you just want something stable and you're happy iterating weekly with your team, I mean, I think that's probably going to be a really difficult workflow to replace with AI or incorporate AI right now. The tool just isn't quite there yet for, teams working together, human teams working together alongside AI. But that's what they're working on, right? I mean, and until the tool's ready, I agree, don't implement.
I believe Visual Basic, which I haven't used for a long time, has got very strong AI integration. So I'm sure they would be looking at this, the guys that's running Slack. What do they call these sessions? Scrum sessions. I'm sure they've thought about it. Also, AI for now, again, if we're looking at strengths and weaknesses, I saw a post of a teacher, or a post of about teachers in a country that I can't remember. I think it may have been China, where they're teaching this one particular school have implemented AI to mark student papers. So, and the comment specifically being, it's freed up the teacher's time to focus on students and the curriculum, as opposed to spending hours grading. Because anybody that knows teachers knows a lot of paperwork has to be done after the fact.
Interesting. Yeah.
Again, a tool before. I mean, you don't want your children to be taught yet by AI, but grading the papers, again, checking code potentially. But Big Mac, I would love to hear. Sorry, go for it.
If I had to think of like a grading table, I'm just trying to think back to my uni days. Like I remember seeing the grading tables that they use to mark you, right? And they seemed quite set in stone and rigid. They were comprehensive and therefore rigid. And so, fair enough. I think if you're dealing in a subject matter that is of that nature and it does free up the teacher's time, certainly there's multiple teachers across schooling and university career that I can think of. How much more amazing would it be if they just had more time? If they said yes to twice the number of meetings with them, because they had more time. I mean, geez, that is definitely there would drive a lot of value, right? As long as the results of the marking is there, I mean, it's hard to question why you wouldn't want that kind of outcome. So yeah,
for sure. But you would, I mean, and same with the coding environment, development environment. I mean, I would imagine that best case scenario is you would have your own software platform that is built specifically for your scenario and your code base, so that things can't be overwritten. I'm sure you'll have the 10 laws of this company's programming ethics. How do we handle APIs? How do we manage?
Yeah. I think that would be really interesting. Team-based.
Big Mate that says they are team-based, probably why they've not embraced it yet. Copilot training videos they've been, let me just put it up again. The Copilot videos have been through, the implementation has been quite customized, but they'll probably still need partial help. Yeah, look, it'll be a slow onboarding, and I'm sure your IT department does not want to unleash Copilot on any amount of employees if they can avoid it.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, the quickest way to drive chaos is pushing a tool that's not ready. So fair enough. But yeah, I think that's also interesting to see, like, how what we've spoken about earlier about the memories, right? If you have a coding assistant who's watching you code on the daily and the way you interact with your code base, it learns how you prefer to set up a function, how you prefer to do certain tasks. I could see that becoming fairly valuable on an individual level, as well as obviously then if you're able to do the same thing as what you were doing with the music, right? If my skill level is here, right, and I use AI and it amplifies me to here as an individual, that's valuable. And certainly if you can learn something along the way, it'll drive value. The question again comes back to most of our high level tasks are in a team environment. And that certainly seems to me right now is like we're waiting for, and there's a lot of research being done and a lot of tools being made in terms of how do we incorporate at scale into teams. I don't know. Some places it doesn't seem ready for the task, but certainly individualistically, I think we're seeing a lot of value driven in certain areas.
Yeah, definitely. And let's be honest, we don't want people that are just AI prompters, right? And I'm sure your job requires a lot more of you in that regard. So for everybody using AI at the moment, still just a tool, assistant. You're not going to say, write me this whole app so I can present it next week.
Yeah, I think the sad reality is also there's so much. I'm sure there's so many teams that have learned so much about what the correct way would be to implement AI in a much better way, but they're kind of heavily invested where they are right now. And there's all these capital expectations of chasing revenue, and we can't stop development for 6 months to rebase onto something new and build that out that would perform more accurately and be more consistent. It's like, I'm sure there's so many of these things in the background that are going on in that industry right now that there surely will be more breakthroughs. I certainly hope so, because I don't want to see any more bad implementation of AI. I think we're all sick of it. So let's focus on what's working.
Those words are going to reverberate in your ears because we're going to have so much bad AI for years to come still. I mean, do we even have a good email client? Do we even have a good web browser? Do we have any good tools at the moment, really? Unreal Engine 5 used to be good. Now everybody's using it. Now it's questionable, right? It's all relative to the time.
Yeah.
We're our own worst enemies.
And the industry. I mean, I read something today where someone was complaining about Unreal Engine being used in the movie industry, and they were not impressed with the average output, right? Because it's more cartoony than the feel is more cartoony, despite being lifelike. So I think there are all these nuances of, again, finding the right tool, and rather, I think maybe with AI we'll see more specialist tools, right? Individuals will be elevated to the point where they can really take these creative ideas they have and they can get to bringing it to production, or bringing it to a funding level where they can get funding to get the team to bring it to production. So I think maybe that'll help. But sure, Unreal Engine, what a topic that would be. Could talk hours.
But the thing with Unreal too, I mean, the Unreal Engine is, because they can customize it, they can overcome a lot of those limitations, but they need to have the team to actually develop in Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
Right, to get those.
Yeah, to create your custom setup. Sure. Yeah, big time.
I mean, I think the most place that I've used that scene is in backgrounds. They've got in the Hollywood scenes, they've got these massive backdrops that screens. So it could look like you're in a setting, but you're just in a sound stage.
I think that's awesome. I mean, the fact that they can create a augmented environment where we are seeing the high quality generated image, right? But the actors still get immersed in the scene that they're acting in. I mean, that's a really cool thing. I mean, that's certainly takes the performance to a new level. And I'm sure the actors are a lot happier knowing what's going on around them, instead of having to really focus about, or, looking at a banana and they're told it's a dinosaur. I mean, it's just like, how abstract you want to go. And so I think that's really cool. And sure, there'll be more to come, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're just scratching the surface, but it's a fun ride so far.
Yeah, I just want my gaming hardware back. So hopefully we find that balance in between all this.
Well, I had an interesting conversation with Neo last week, Neo from the Overclocker. And he actually summed it up quite nicely, in that if we're looking at the gaming side of things, we are definitely going to be seeing more AI-generated frames, because software is going to be taking over a lot of the heavy lifting from our GPU, and that's just going to be the nature of the beast. Because also there are benefits to that. Obviously, you can do a lot more with a lower spec device.
Right, and I think again, it's just finding that balance. Right now, a lot of the complaints I see is gamers that are AI. Fair enough. Writers need to stop using AI in movies. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I mean, it's really
wasn't
hard
there
to
something?
argue against that one.
Was it was there some rumors around Stranger Things 2's ending being like AI written or something?
Oh dear.
I don't know. I could be wrong. Don't get me wrong.
I don't. I don't.
So 43. Which ones are you talking about?
Yeah. Get specific. Name and shame. Like what are your thoughts? I guess.
Let's hear that. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of the AI frames, right? If you have a baseline frame rate that's responsive enough, so like let's say you were at 60 frames, which generally feels fairly good, and it then allows you to go to 120 or 180. I think the experience there is balanced between responsiveness and frame rate and the look. Whereas, currently often these settings are turned on and your base frame rate's like 32 frames. Like, it feels terrible from a response. And so the net result is a terrible experience despite the extra frames. So the balance still needs to be figured out, I think, there.
Oh yeah, 100%. But I do agree with Neo in the sense that software is going to do a lot more heavy lifting. It just makes sense if especially if AI can optimize code. If we can get to a point where the code and the implementations, imagine we get to a point where compression is a whole new thing, right? Remember that Silicon Valley series where the whole thing was around that compression of theirs changing the world. But I mean, that's a good example. Sure. If we optimize these things, optimize being the keyword, not jeopardize. Oh, so they were talking about Stranger Things finale. Although Big Mac Daddy says you could convince. But man, always good to chat to you. Quentin, thank you so much.
Yeah, Richard, thanks so much for inviting me and catching up. And yeah, I hope it's a strong year for you, man.
Yeah, same to you. Looking forward to all the exciting things we can get up to. For anybody that doesn't know you, can you give us a little introduction and a breakdown of where people can find you if they want to chat to find out more about your AI intelligence and how your services?
So I'm the owner of Tech Traders and Vanguard PC. And yeah, I mean, Tech Traders is a distribution company. So we work with resellers across the country. And Vanguard PC is a consumer business who sells PCs and a lot of AI setups as well. I mean, a lot of consumers are coming to us, a surprising amount are coming to us and asking for localized inference. And we're helping, right down from 50,000 Rand all the way up to 15 million. I mean, you really have to see, it's unbelievable what people are getting up to with this technology.
Wow. I did not realize.
So VanguardPC.co.za
at that
and
point.
Tech Traders.
Yeah, get your AI PC there. But I didn't realize it was at that point where people would actually request. So what would you give them? What would be the key component that you would give them to make it a good AI PC? So
this is what I was telling you about, that rabbit hole conversation, right? It's like, it really comes down to the use case. If okay. I don't even want to touch on it because I'd sound like an absolute pisang to anyone who knows anything the moment you start generalizing, right? Because it's like, oh, but for my use case that wouldn't work, and fair enough, it absolutely wouldn't. So I always encourage people to, if they're not sure where to start, a really easy way is to use AI to figure out your tech stack, and lock in what your outcomes are, and what your bottlenecks could be with your current setup or your future setup, and then come chat to us about refining it. I mean, we'd more than happily chat to you guys to bring it closer to a budget that's more acceptable, or an outcome that would probably be better.
Fantastic. Well, Tech Traders is the place to go. It's by no means an ad. This came up very organically when I was chatting to Quentin about some AI stuff. But I'm glad to hear that there are more people tinkering with it. And yeah, let's have some more conversation around it. And if anybody's watching this video after the fact, please do still drop comments about what AI you use and how you see it implemented in your life. It's such a cool topic these days because it is just a cool piece of tech. Honestly, even if you're just a curious person, you'll find it fascinating. Yeah, thank you, Quentin. Appreciate it. Thank you to anybody who's tuned in and left comments. Really appreciate you guys. And we'll see you next week, 3 p.m. It may be live, it may be pre-recorded, depends on the guest's availability. But we'll see you then. Cheers.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.